It's time for an Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast, and this time around we'll be talking about the Heart of Iowa tour that I found out about just this past weekend, which features all these different cities in Iowa, including Newton, because, of course, Newton, we love the city of Newton, right? It's a fantastic town with all these little hidden gems, and Jessica will tell us about the various stops they make in Newton and the people and places that they visit in just a couple of moments, so hang on for that. But first, a word from our sponsors, including Ryan's Tire and Auto on First Avenue, Newton. If you check out Ryan's Facebook page, you'll see a big thank you for Newton Main Street. Of course, this is the week of Newton Homecoming, and the folks at Newton Main Street say, hey, we want to give Ryan's a huge thank you because they are beyond grateful to Ryan's Tire and Auto for their generous sponsorship of the Red and Black Block Party. Their support helped bring this incredible event to life in our community and made it an unforgettable experience for all. They truly couldn't have done it without Ryan's Tire and Auto, and they say thank you for being such a vital part of the celebration for Newton's homecoming this year. Ryan's Tire and Auto, First Avenue, Newton. Also by Newton Clinic. Hey, thank you for Newton Clinic and all the health care they provide for the whole family, all under one roof. At Newton Clinic, their family medicine team is here for every stage of life, from your child's first checkup to your parents' ongoing care. One clinic, every generation, a lifetime of health. Call today to schedule appointments for the whole family at 641-792-2112. That's Newton Clinic. And Advantage Credit Union.
Financial fitness doesn't happen at the gym. This is your spotter, Ashley from Advantage Credit Union. We'll do the heavy lifting while you gain the power of loan pre-approval. This kind of muscle means you know exactly how much you can borrow for that next vehicle and what your payments will be. Plus, you have 30 days to shop any dealership for your purchase to work out. ACU membership is better than a gym membership because you actually own the place.
Local money, local decisions, local service, and locally owned by you. Subject to credit approval, member NCUA.
It's time for another Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast, and on the phone with me is Jessica Rufis, who is with the Heart of Iowa tour. And I want to thank Melissa Dalton, who is on the Newton City Council. Ran into her at one of our sponsors, the Made Right restaurant in Newton. Was just chatting with her the other day. And she had mentioned that their bus tour stopped at their place, at Dalton Farm Toys, and they were heading out to the Arboretum, and I really hadn't heard anything much about this. And it turns out our mayor had talked to these folks, and they're making several stops around the state of Iowa. And Jessica's on the phone to tell us about this, all the way from down in the great state of Kentucky. And Jessica, thanks for joining us. Tell us about this tour and the agency you're with, and maybe where this whole idea came from.
Sure. So I'm with Country Travel Discoveries, and Country Travel Discoveries is a travel company that's based out of Elm Grove, Wisconsin, and we offer domestic plus international trips. And this tour specifically was in collaboration with the Our Iowa magazine. And so the point of this tour was to really find Central Iowa's kind of hidden gems and unique experiences and local flavors. So we started in Des Moines and made our way through Winterset and Fort Dodge and Cedar Falls, all the way to, we did the Old Wine Amish community, and it finished up in Marshalltown and Newton, and then went back to Des Moines.
How did you decide on these towns anyway? Because, I mean, you know, we're kind of prejudiced. We think Iowa's a great state and there's so much to see and do. How did you come to the decision on what to visit and where to go?
Well, we've done, our company's done several Iowa tours throughout the years, and we have tour planners in our office that really collaborated with the folks from the magazine and picked out places in these different towns that we wanted to show local flavors. So we wanted to, for instance, when we were in Winterset, we wanted to go see the John Wayne Birthplace Museum because that's a big part of Winterset. But we also wanted to go see the Rusty Stars Alpaca Farm, right? So that's like a little bit more off the beaten path. It might not be something that everybody would naturally go see in Winterset. So same thing when we went to Newton, right? We were really excited to go see kind of the big parts of Newton, Dalton's Farm Toys, and meet Joy the pig. But we also got the Center for Arts and Artists to show us all the bronze statues that you all have in Newton. So we tried to hit kind of the big things in the different cities we visited, but also the things that maybe not all the tourists get to see.
You know, I've been to that alpaca farm, and that's neat. And you get to feed the alpacas, and that is just great. And I'm glad that you've come to Newton and met Joy the mini pig. I did a
she's great.
podcast with Joy's mama and did a video with Joy. And I remember when Joy was just a baby, and she did all kinds of tricks, and now she's grown up, and she still does all kinds of tricks. And she's famous in Newton. I mean, we've had TV crews here from all over the world just to visit Joy. So that's fantastic. You visited a whole bunch of different towns around Iowa, too. You just mentioned them. What other sites did you see in some of those other towns? Maybe you could mention those, Jessica.
Yes, absolutely. So when we were in Des Moines, we went to a glass blowing studio called J.J. Gaffer's Glass Blowing. And Jesse Bogenreef, he's the owner of this glass blowing studio. He does beautiful work, and he also gave us a presentation on how he blows glass, showed us how to do that. Our travelers loved seeing that. We went to Fort Dodge, and we visited the Guido Van Helten silo mural. Have you seen this? It's a 110-foot grain silo mural.
I have not seen it.
Yeah, that's a really neat stop off in Fort Dodge, and the artist actually used people in the community as his models, and he painted this giant 110-foot grain silo. So that's definitely worth a visit. We also stopped by the Fort Museum and Frontier Village in Fort Dodge, which has kind of all these old authentic structures and exhibits of early Iowa life. And they also have the Cardiff Giant hoax at that museum as well. So that's definitely worth a visit. And we went to the Iowa Falls Swinging Bridge and took a scenic city lunch cruise underneath the swinging bridge, which was beautiful. We hit the Heartland Museum in Clarion. So we saw lots of vintage machinery and all the collections that they have there. They have lots of tractors and old agricultural equipment. One of my favorites is that we got to meet with Dave Carpenter, and he is actually the cartoonist for the Our Iowa magazine as well. So he comes and talks to our group about how kind of the cartoon industry has changed over time and how he comes up with his jokes and his cartoons for the magazine, and the travelers really love that as well. I'm trying to think of some of the other probably a huge highlight for me on this tour is we do the Oline Amish community. And one of the best things I think is that we have lunch in an Amish home. And this Amish family hosts us in their home and cooked us this amazing lunch that, I mean, it's just out of this world. The menu is just crazy. The food just keeps coming and coming and coming. So that was a big highlight for me, I think. But we saw the Sullivan Brothers Museum, the Ice House Museum, and of course, we tried to hit as many Freedom Rocks as we could along the way.
Oh, sure. There's Freedom Rocks all over the state. And the Sullivan Brothers Museum, that sounds fascinating, too. And if you ever have a chance, visit the Grout Museum in Waterloo, where that's pretty neat. And they have a World War II museum, and that's dedicated to the Sullivan Brothers also. So that's pretty nice. I understand that you're going to be coming back and doing another tour and heading to Newton in October too. Is that correct, Jessica?
That's correct. So I've done the first two tours. We have a different tour director who's coming in October, but every tour director with our company is fabulous. And we're going to do pretty much the same itinerary in October as well. And we have this same tour scheduled for 2026. So people love this tour. It's a really good time, and people love visiting Iowa.
Now, have you toured other cities in Iowa in the past, or is this a brand new thing for touring cities in the state of Iowa?
So the company's definitely toured cities in the state of Iowa in the past. They've done different sections of Iowa. I can't think of the cities off the top of my head that they've done, but I know they've done different Iowa tours previously. And we actually also did another tour recently. I did it the week before we did this tour called John McGivern's Main Streets. And for that tour, we were in Davenport and Ames and Dubuque, Iowa as well.
Now, does your company do tours of other specific cities in other states too, or is it just specific to the state of Iowa?
Oh, Country Travel has, for instance, for 2026, we have, I think it's 45 plus destinations in the United States and internationally. So we do U.S. tours and we do international trips as well.
Wow, amazing. Well, you folks must do a lot of research before you do these trips. Do you have a staff that looks up various different places around cities in these various states that you're looking into? How do you figure these things out?
Yes, we have a great staff. A lot of our staff that's in the office, they're located in Elm Grove, Wisconsin. And then we have the tour directors. So the staff, like kind of what you mentioned, who does a lot of the planning and work on reservations and getting everything set up, they're called our tour planners. And they work in the office, and they do just a fantastic job of working with all of the vendors, and they get everything fully set up for us down to almost, the minute that we arrive and we leave. They get everything set with the hotels and the drivers, and any flight information, all the information they need. They actually send me, as the tour director, a box in the mail with our plan day by day, everything that I need to execute the actual tour. And then myself as the tour director, I go in and I'm kind of the boots on the ground with the travelers day by day throughout the tour to make it happen. And I'm trying to think how many staff I think total the company has. If I had to guess, it might be, I hope I don't get this wrong, but maybe 25-ish to 30-ish folks between tour directors and the staff in the office. We have a great president, Andrea Brooks. She kind of keeps us all running. Our tour planner for this tour, Molly, she was outstanding, and she really planned the whole thing down to the minute. It was a really easy and fun tour to execute. And of course, all of our vendors were fantastic.
Well, you talk about the hotels and, accommodations and all that kind of stuff. How long do these tours, when you go through the state of Iowa, how many days do they usually last?
So this tour, the Heart of Iowa, and I would guess most of our Iowa tours are about 7 days long. So the first day, day one, you're meeting at the hotel and you're kind of having, your welcome dinner, you're getting all the administrative stuff out of the way, kind of telling people what to expect for the next 7 days. And then you're really touring hard for those, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and then the last day, day 7. And actually that's when we were in Newton. It's such a nice way to end our tour because that arboretum is so lovely. It's nice and relaxing. So our day 7, we did the Arboretum, Dalton's Farm Toys, Joy the Pig, and then the Center for Arts and Artists. And then we head back to Des Moines and fly out on day 7.
I see. Okay. I'm curious about the cost involved in this kind of thing.
Our tours can range in cost, and I should have those figures in front of me, but I really don't. It kind of depends on the tour. We have, obviously our international tours are going to cost quite a bit more than, a domestic tour would cost. But our tours generally have a lot of meals included. We ate at some great restaurants and places while we were in Iowa, for instance. So a lot of your meals are taken care of. And then the cost is going to vary based on if you are in a single room by yourself or a double room. And then Country Travel has some nice discounts based on if you're booking more than 1 or 2 trips in a year, or if you're referring somebody as well.
And I understand you have people from, well, I suppose all over the country, but probably all over the world that go on these trips too.
Yes, absolutely. We have people from all over that take our trips, and we actually have a lot of repeat customers. So one of the things as a tour director that I get when we go through is how many trips folks have taken with us in the past. And so you'll see people coming back, for 20 plus of the Country Travel Discovery trips because they like them so much. And what's really, really neat about this Heart of Iowa tour is that we got a lot of people who were taking this trip with us for the first time because they read about it in our Iowa magazine. So that's been a nice collaboration with us because we are being introduced to new people through the Our Iowa magazine as well.
Well, that's nice that they're finding out about this, but I'm sure there are people who find out for the first time about all these hidden treasures around Iowa. As a tour director, when you go on these trips, are people surprised at what they see? Because, unfortunately, a lot of people consider Iowa as a flyover state. It's kind of, not I got to say, not always the biggest vacation destination for a lot of people.
I think, what I love about this trip is when a lot of folks that took this trip were from Iowa, and they wanted to see different parts of their home state. But we also had people from Texas. We had folks from California on this last trip. We had 5 people came in from California to take this trip because they wanted to see Iowa. We had a woman from Pennsylvania. She said she loves coming to the Midwest because the people are just so wonderful. So she comes and takes different tours of different parts of the Midwest. And you said something that's so true, because even the travelers who were on the tour from Iowa got to see things that they'd say, for instance, we had a couple say to me, I've driven past the sign for this Scenic City Empress Lunch Cruise 1 million times, and I've never taken it. I'm so excited I'm finally getting to take this cruise.
Okay.
Or somebody said to me when we were in Algona, we visited the Nativity in Algona and the POW Museum, and I had folks from Iowa say, I didn't even know this POW Museum existed here. Mm-hmm. So you get a mix. You get folks from out of town who are just really excited to be in Iowa and meet all the nice people that are from Iowa, and you have people from Iowa who are like, wow, I didn't even know this existed in my state.
Wow.
And I will say that as we drive through Iowa, folks from Iowa always tell me, they're like, you need to add this next time and this next time. There's 1,000 things you could see in Iowa. So I have a running list of all the things that the travelers tell me I need to add for the next go around.
that is so neat. And, there's nothing wrong with a good staycation because there is so much to see and do in Iowa. And I think living here, sometimes we take it for granted. But if you do what you folks have done and do some research and maybe hop on the bus and go check out some of these places through you folks too, I think it's going to open their eyes to finding out what there is to do around the great state of Iowa. If people want to find out more about these trips, how can they do that, Jessica?
Yes, so we have a website, countrytraveldiscoveries.com. So you can see our tours online. Also, that has our phone number, all the information that you would need to contact the company. We have a beautiful catalog that the company can send you if you want to see more about our tours coming up in 2026. Country Travel Discovery is also on Facebook. And we have an Instagram handle, CTD Tours, where we share photos from our tours and, interesting vendor sites and more about the company there as well.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Sounds very interesting, and I'm glad Melissa Dalton told me about it because I got to be honest, I had not heard anything about this, and I'm glad to hear about it because I'm so proud to be living in the great state of Iowa, and especially in Newton and central Iowa, because this is where I was born and raised, and it's so great that you folks are taking a special interest in in the Hawkeye State. Sorry,
Absolutely.
all due respect to the Cyclones too.
Oh, I've heard a lot about that this week. So, well, you're going to have to come take a tour now. You'll have to go on the Heart of Iowa tour next time.
There you go. Thanks again for joining us. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Our interview guest has been Jessica Rufis on Out and About with Jamie Grout. This podcast also sponsored by Jersey Freeze in Monroe, home of the Van and Bon Freezer, Lynette Baker Halo Branded Solutions, Westside Java Coffee Bar, and the Made Right Sandwich Shop open 7 days a week for breakfast. Until next time, out is out. See ya!